Hi everyone, welcome to DIY Ideas. Today I'm showing you how you can make your own oven mitts. This is a great project for beginners because you can practice with multiple layers, plus you get a great result in the end, maybe even practice with a little bit of bias tape. This is also a great gift idea. I think it's always useful and everybody could need a pair of oven mitts, so if you want to see how you can make this all by yourself, stay tuned. So, you need your fabric, and I recommend using something with a lot of cotton or purely out of cotton because it's the easiest to work with and it works great with the thermo fabric that I got specifically for the oven mitts. So, cotton for the outside and inside, and then the thermo fabric or whatever you have that can withstand high heat, so it's not like fleece this time and it's a bit better for mitts this way. So then some pins and fabric scissors, of course, something to measure with, a ruler, hand gauge or measuring tape, whatever, and some bias tape. The pattern is super easy to do. You can cut it out whichever way you like. I did it a bit wider than my own hand, so I put it over it and you can see what I mean. So you need a lot more room because you have a lot of layers. You're going to have your hands in there later. Some of it is going to go on the stitches, so make sure you do it big enough. If you have an old oven mitt, you can of course take that one and add a bit for the stitches, or just do 17 times 30 centimeters like a rectangle and then cut it out into its final shape. So for one singular oven mitt, you're gonna need 2 times your outside fabric of your choice and 2 times the inside fabric, and 2 to 4 layers of any heat resistant fabric. So you see how I cut it here? So at least this part on top, so this section will be doubled. So this is the one side, not the whole thing, but you can of course take just 1 layer if you like. I think it's always a lot safer to take 2, and that way you're definitely not gonna get burned when you use these. So you have to remember you're using this with the oven or very hot pots, so you want it in multiple layers in order to keep you safe. So 2 to 4 of the same thing out of this fabric. Let me fetch it really quick. Here it is. So 4 times total, and I already stitched the 2 together so that they are thick enough. Now we have 2 possibilities. You can do every layer separately, so the outside, then the inside, and finally the middle layers, so that you have 3 mitts separately and then you just push them all into one another and stitch up. Or you can do the middle layers with the outside directly together. So take them like this and just align them really nicely, make sure it's all nice and precise. And then you want to sew so that it stays that way. So that's the one option. Or you can put all layers pretty side on pretty side like this. Again, align nicely. And then just stitch them up. So just each stitch that's open all around, all the way to the other end, the other side, and just the opening on the bottom should of course stay open. And then you can repeat that with as many layers as you decided to do. In my case, I'm doing 3, but I will do them simultaneously. You can of course choose on your own which method you prefer. So I'll align one outside piece with one middle piece so that I can save time and do it all as one step. So now that you finished this step, if you chose this method, you can take your stitched piece and do a nice little pattern over it. So maybe some squares or diagonals on here. So you can do this if you'd like, so diagonal or just straight lines like this, or maybe little crosses all over, or pretty much whichever way you like it. So sometimes you can see that mitts have that. This is of course purely optional. But yeah, if you decide to do that, it can actually look pretty cool. In my case, I have this lovely pattern on here and I don't want to destroy it or have it look weird with additional stitches, so I'll just skip that step and I'll align the other piece with it. The same I did here with the inside fabric, and you can also do the inside and then first check if your hand fits. Make sure it's a bit looser because there is a lot of layers that we're gonna have inside of here. Now you can cut here and the corner almost all the way to the stitch so that it looks a little bit neater and nicer when we turn it inside out. And we can already get to that step. Just make sure you're careful and do it any way you prefer. Don't forget to push into the thumb nicely. And now you can take a look that this looks nice on the outside, and take a look that all of your stitches are neat, not like here, because you gotta go over that one more time if you have this. So you don't want your stitches ripping later, and it can happen, it's not a bad thing, but if you notice it, you gotta fix it right away. Okay, now that we did this, we can take the inside, turn the other way around, and we can push this into our mid. And again, don't forget the thumb. Take your time to align. On the bottom, you want to have the stitch on the stitch, so again aligned. And now just do a stitch around all the open edges to keep everything in place and as neatly aligned as possible. And now that we did this, we are almost done. All we need is some bias tape for the bottom. And you see that mine is a very wide one, but you can do whichever one you have or bought for this project. And you can put it directly on here, on the inside, before this edge of course, and then around. And since this is a bit wider than usual and easier to work with, I'll just align the edges and do a stitch here on the end or on the edge of the bias tape. If you want to make it a bit neater or have a bit smaller bias tape, you can use the traditional method, which is open it up, do the outside here, and then fold inside and do another stitch from the outside this time. I pinned it all together and before I'm done, so when I start the stitch but before I finish, I'll align this beginning here and I want to do a little loop or a little hook so that I can hang up my mid when I'm not using it. So I'll do the bias tape kind of upwards like this, so in order to make a little loop, and then I'll do the little loop and the other end should be on the inside. And that's where you're gonna do your stitch to secure it, and then you're done and you can hang your mid. So here is our finished oven mid, and you see the little loop that I did, and at the end the stitch that we finished with that secured the loop as well. And you see that they are pretty thick, which means that they are also very safe to use. That's thanks to the double layer that I did inside. And the inside also makes a nice effect. It has a nice color, but you can do both in the same fabric if you'd like. You can do multiple layers, you can do bias tape. You don't have to do bias tape. So this is highly customizable and you can make it all your own, just the way you like it. It's also a really great gift idea, just like I mentioned. So if you're looking for a perfect gift, this might just be it. With pretty fabric, it's gonna look awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to shoot us a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to our channel and that way stay updated with all of our new videos. You can also comment in the comment section and post any wishes or questions that you might have. And I hope to see you in one of our next videos. So stay tuned for that. And until that, please have a great day. Bye.